Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows and then I come over here and I react to them. Every Monday is Sister Wives Day. Sisters, sisters, there have never been such devoted sisters. Robin with her dolls, Mary with Jen, Christine with David, and Janelle, who gives a shit. Anyway, today we're going to talk about last night's episode of Sister Wives. It was so boring. Okay, I just have to tell you, I do not understand what is going on with the show. I am so confused about this show. Like, they are still talking about things that happened, like, 25 years ago. Okay, is that all this show is anymore? You know, like, I predicted last year that I was like, well, first of all, we didn't even know if there was going to be a season 20, but I said if there was going to be a season 20, it was just going to be reflections back on all the previous seasons. But we know that the 21st season is confirmed. We know that, right? Because Christine came out and talked about it. Some of the kids have come out and talked about it. So they've seen Mary, like, filming with Jen everywhere. So I'm like, we know a 21st season is coming, supposedly, right? And I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, they are still talking about things from 20 years ago. Now, I will tell you, it makes total sense to me why Christine released her book when she did, because I really couldn't figure it out. I was like, she released it right before the 20th season came out, right? Which I think from a marketing point of view is smart, but I didn't understand it. Like, I was like, why would you not wait until the announcement of, like, the show's over? Christine said a million times, I don't want to be on this show anymore. I think the $1 million check to, like, have coffee in your kitchen with your husband for 5 minutes and talk about your marriage to Cody that you left him 4 years ago. I mean, just think about this, honestly, from this perspective, okay? You're paid $1 million a year to sit in your kitchen for literally, if you combine all of, like, their Christine scenes for a whole season, it probably is like, I mean, she went to visit Janelle. And they were filmed for like 10 minutes there. Maybe not even that. And most of her scenes are with David in the kitchen having coffee. And so it's like you're paid $1 million to sit in the kitchen and talk about your ex-husband from 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not really a bad gig if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about your ex from like, anyway, but I read her book. Well, I listened to her book on Audible, and because she reads it, you know? So anyway, I was like, I gotta listen to this book. A lot of what she put in the book is now coming out on the season. So it makes sense to me now why she put the book out when she did. Because if she had put the book out after the season, a lot of the reflections from her past are like in this season. So it's like a lot of the revelations of her past are things that, like, she's talking about the undergarments this episode. Well, that's one of the big parts of her book, is we're talking about the undergarments and Cody not being attracted to her unless she was wearing like a football uniform. I'm joking, but he really did not like her wearing lingerie. He wanted her in her undergarments. No, true story. Like, when they effed, he wanted her in her undergarments. But she brought that up, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So a lot of, like, the stuff that she's talking about in her book, she's talking about in the season. So they must have known that. They must have known. I almost kind of wonder, this season just feels so weird to me. It feels so piecemeal, like they're just kind of piecing it together. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I know that this is like one of the, it's really, like, the views have gone way down on this show, but I know that for TLC, it's like one of their highest viewed shows. So obviously they're going to, like, you know, they're going to make it go on as long as they possibly can. But for me, it just feels so, this season feels so weird. Like, it doesn't even make sense. The only consistent part to it is Coyote Pass. So, you know, we see in the trailer that Cody goes on this apology tour, which we're now, like, I think 6 or 7 episodes in. I don't even remember which episode this is, but we're now like 6 or 7, I think this is the 6th or 7th episode. And Cody hasn't even begun to talk about making apologies to his ex-wives. So that must be after the mid-season break. It must happen. So anyway, I watched this week's episode, and this week's episode is called, hold on just a second, let me get to my notes. Sisters, you're like a stripper, I'm like a pole. Now, they always pull the titles from a direct quote. So I was like, before I started watching it, I was like, I love this title, first of all. But I was like, who says it? Well, it's Robin, okay? Robin says to Cody, you're like a stripper and I'm like the pole. Because it references their dancing. And that Cody, is it called a punk dance or a pump dance? That he does all this kind of stuff and whatever. Cody just loves to dance, don't she? She do so much. Cody just loves to dance. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second because they go to dance lessons, okay? Even though she's so shy and demure, that one. Anyway, so when it starts, we're in pair one. I don't, like, listen, people all the time talk about the fifth sister wife. The fifth sister wife is Jen. Can we just give her her due? Okay, Jen is so fucking funny. I love Jen. Jen is the fifth fucking sister wife. She truly is, okay? Mary don't need to find another husband because she's got Jen, all right? Jen and Mary together remind me so much of my best friend and I. I just love their chemistry. I just love them so much, you know? I don't know, they just crack me up when I watch them. So they're going through stuff through Mary's storage, okay? Now, in all honesty, this is where I'm talking about this stuff. This show, this season would bore a snake. It really, truly would. Don't call me Truly Brown. But it would really bore a snake. And when she's like, yeah, I'm going through these boxes in storage, I'm like, oh my God. Does production call up Mary and be like, hey, like, do you have any old boxes you can come up with so we can come through it? And of course, Jen has to be there because she can't just be talking to herself, right? So Mary has no storyline, okay? Like, I don't know what Mary does all day long, but except for those Blue LaRoe sales live streams, but she has no storyline, which I don't blame her for collecting her $1 million check either, right? I'm watching the damn show. So she pulls this storage bin out of her storage that's got all of her wedding stuff in it from when she married Cody 35 years ago, okay? Now, they done been divorced now, spiritually and legally for like 15 years, spiritually for like 3 years now, and she's going through this stuff, okay? And I'm like, this is so contrived at this point. It's not like Mary just all of a sudden goes, oh, production, you should come over because it's like, it's so contrived. And of course, Jenna's there so they can talk about all of it, right? But I don't mind it, honestly. This is kind of the stuff that I find interesting. The conversations with Christine and David, they bore me. They so bore me. But anyway, so she's going through her wedding stuff. She's got this wedding announcement on there. And she's like, what do I do with this stuff? You throw it away, Mary. You throw it away. You pitch it in the trash, okay? Or better yet, and I was kind of surprised Jen didn't suggest this, why not make a bonfire out back? I think that would have been such a great scene for Sister Wives, for them to just light that shit on fire. I would have lived, okay? If they would have just lit all that shit on fire in the backyard. So anyway, so they're reading the announcements and it says reception and ball. I was like, whose? Because Cody doesn't have it. But then Mary explains that they were having a ball because Cody liked to dance. I'm kind of surprised, I just have to say, you know, like, when it came out last season or whatever, that Cody's big secret, and Mary and Robin are the only ones that know his secret. And I have never insinuated this, and I don't know, the 30 to 40, 50 Sister Wives videos I've made across several video channels at this point. But I made 2 seconds of insinuation that Cody might be gay. And that I was like, and I made a joke about it. He had gone to his high school reunion, and they all said at the reunion they thought he was gay. Oh my God. People in the comment sections, he is not gay, blah, 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 blah. I didn't say it. His high school reunion people said it. You can go with that. But anyway, him and his balls were having a ball dancing at the at his wedding. And she goes, you know, we didn't want to have a typical polygamous wedding. Apparently, a typical polygamous wedding is where you go to, like, the gym, and then everybody stands in line, and you go down and you shake their hand. Please do not invite me to that wedding, okay? Do not make me, listen, I've been to 2 weddings already this year. My husband, all of his girlfriends are getting married. The last wedding's on Valentine's Day. The weddings have been beautiful. I've had a blast. I would rather stay at home and watch TV. Okay, no, true story. I've had so much fun going to these weddings, but please don't invite me to a polygamous wedding where I got to put on a suit and stand in line and shake a bunch of people's hands, okay? Like, listen, okay? I'm kind of a germaphobe anyway, and I don't want to shake people's hands, especially that are polygamous, and I don't know where your hands have been on who that day. And I'm just saying right now, okay, like, I don't need all that, okay? There's not enough hand sanitizer in the world that could get me through that wedding, okay? So they didn't want to have a typical polygamous wedding because Cody wanted to dance. Do you want to dance all through the night? Oh, baby. Baby, do you want to dance? I'll tell you who don't want to dance with him is Robin. Robin, every episode, just gets more and more disgusted with Cody Brown. I don't think them two have fucked in years. I just don't think they have, okay? Anyway, so they knew from the very beginning that they were going to always have another wife because they'd already talked about it. And so they talked about going and shaking people's hands in line. It just freaks me out. I don't know why. She don't want to do that wedding. Okay. So Cody wanted to dance at their wedding. And so then she pulls out, she's got a wedding dress that she made herself. And she says she doesn't know what to do with it. Then they show Robin. Robin says she still has her wedding dress. And then they ask her if it's a good memory, if she has good memories of her wedding day. She thanks for a long time about it. I thought that was weird, okay? Y'all are talking about how much in love you are all the time and stuff like that. Robin literally is like this. And then what she says is, it was a good day because she accomplished what she wanted for everyone to have a good time and that they all felt emotionally safe. I'm like, girl, you are, you can't just say, yeah, I had a great time marrying my fucking husband. What? That's weird to me that she has to think up an answer. She ain't happy. Everybody keeps on suggesting that she's out, she's soon to be out. I'm not entirely sure that that's not the case. When I would see the rumors online that Robin was leaving Cody and stuff like that, I was like, that's never going to happen. I really didn't believe it would ever happen, having watched the show so long. I was like, where's Robin going to go if she leaves? People are suggesting that, she's going to leave and then go back to the church and, she wants to be a polygamist. That's not going to happen. I don't see her becoming a polygamous wife to somebody else. I don't see that happen. But she seems so unhappy with Cody. They don't ever show us the real thing on here anyway. Then Christine goes on talking about how she needed to be modest at her wedding, and she's talked about that wedding dress for years. She hated that wedding dress, even though her mom helped her make it. But she was really happy because she was able to turn some of it into flowers from McKelty's bouquet. I remember watching that episode. I actually thought that was really sweet. But then now she just has her old dress with all the holes in it from where they took off the lace for the bouquet. Mary made her dress, and then Jen says, you made your wedding dress, because that's what you do when you're a 19-year-old polygamist. I love that. And she says the only reason that she stuck with the dress, or stuck, having all these, she's stuck with what to do with it, is because her grandma helped her make the dress, which I think that's sweet. And then there's a letter from Cody in there, and she's like, I don't know where that letter's from. Where's that letter from? This letter from Cody. And so it's this big mystery. What's in the letter? What's in the letter? The letter from Cody. Then we're in Flagstaff, and Cody and Robin are going to dinner. It's so interesting, when you see interviews at the end with Cody, and then you see him at dinner with Robin. He is such an actor, such a performer. At the dinner, he's yeah, we're going to dinner. But when he's on the you see the real Cody Brown when he's put on the spot, which is why he'll never do a reunion show with those other wives. He will not do it. He says they're constantly gauging their marriage because with the kids, they're either co-parents or they're battle buddies. I think, and I don't have kids, but most of my friends do, I think that would piss me off if my spouse said that about me. We're either battle buddies or we're co-parents. That's how you see your spouse. It's one or the other. You're either co-parents or you're battle buddies. I mean, I know he's talking about in reference to the kids, but you only have 2 kids. They act like they have so many kids. Aurora and Brianna are 22 and 21. Solomon, and I don't know what that gal's name is, but anyway, the young one that's excited she got a big mansion. I don't remember her name, I'm sorry. Brescia. Anyway, well, Brianna's Brescia, so Sheet Set and Solomon, they're 10 and 12, aren't they? So they act like they're so busy with these kids. Cody at one point is yeah, the kids are always running in to get attention from mom. We have to leave the bedroom door open. Who? Brescia at 21? Brescia hasn't been in an episode she's smoking clove cigarettes down the street. She ain't been in an episode, I don't know, 5 episodes or something who, Dayton? Where's Dayton? There's all these rumors Dayton's gone back to live with his biological, what are you talking about? All these kids coming in and out wanting Robin's attention. It's all just made up bullshit. It's all made up stories. Anyway, he says that the kids draw a lot of their attention. The bedroom door is always open. And I'm like, for who? Solomon and Mattress? I'm confusion about this. 2 kids. Get them fucking laptops or something. Do you know what I mean? Probably got iPads and all kinds of madness out there. They're probably wanting in there to play with Robin's dolls or $60,000 dolls. He jokes because she's like, well, I've been up a lot lately. And he makes some joke about how he kept her up. Have you ever gone to a dinner with somebody, another couple, and one partner is always making real sexual jokes and whatever? It's real uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? Cody jokes so much about it, and Robin looks so put off with it that I just don't even believe that they have done it in years. I just don't believe that they have. Or maybe they do it all the time and she just don't want it called out. I don't know. She says they're talking about the dancing and, hold on a second. She says it's weird to have kids who have their own lives. She's talking about Brescia and Freesia. She's talking about Febreze and Brescia. And she says that, like, she feels like she's their age. I was like, girl. I mean, Robin's close to my age. Okay, Mary's my age. Let's be for real. Okay, I do not feel 21 anymore. I just don't. Nor do I wish to go back to 21. I just don't. Okay? And she's like, she just wants to dance to 90s music. And then she says that they should dance. So it's originally her idea to go to the dance lessons. But then when they go to the dance lessons, she looks so put off. She looks so pissed about it. And she's like, he dances by himself and she doesn't know what to do. Because he's like... He does dance by himself, you know, and I wouldn't know what to do either. I guess I'd just dance by myself, Billy Idol. But anyway, she says she's not going to match his exuberance. She goes, it's embarrassing, and she doesn't know what to do because he just dances on his own. This is their big marital problems right here. Okay, he feels like their partner's dancing. He doesn't understand what she's saying to him. He says it's like a tango. He uses all these metaphors. I'm so over it. But I'm like, you don't ever listen to her, Cody. Like, she's telling you she wants to dance with you. You're always talking about how she loves you and she's so obedient and loyal and shy. She's telling you she wants to dance with you. Then don't challenge her and say, we're partners. What are you talking about? Say, okay, I'll do better at that, which she does do, but it takes forever to get there. And she wants to take dance lessons. He says she doesn't want to do it his way. Oh, so it's your way or the highway. Okay, Cody Brown. Like the table that you wanted. Or getting the new house. It's always Cody's way, right? Robin Brown has no voice in this marriage. This is where when Cody wants to act like maybe it wasn't Robin all along. Maybe it was Cody that was the real shit stirrer. Who knows, you know? He says that she doesn't want to do it his way. They talk about church dances and how church dances were really conservative and that they were trying to do the same dance that Brigham Young would do back. They show all these people like going like this. Who would want to like sign up for that? Like I'm so confused. But in his house or his barn or his room, it was rock and roll all day long. I was like, all right, Footloose. You better go, Footloose. Kevin Bacon. He said that they're going to go dancing and she won't be his accessory. She'll be his partner. My husband better never refer to me as an accessory. I'm telling you right now, better never. Okay, then we're in North Carolina and Janelle loves her new normal, which is her with everybody's kids. Everybody's kids is out in North Carolina. Gabriel's there. I love Gabriel so much. He is the sweetest of all the kids. I love Gabriel so much. Peyton's got a girlfriend. Gabriel has a girlfriend. They're like, kind of like talking about how they met their girlfriends. Gabriel DM'd her, and that's how he got this girlfriend. He's moving to Chicago for her. Christine thinks it's very important. Christine thinks it's very important to live with someone before, to live with them, with someone before getting married. And you should also travel with someone before you get married. Christine that was engaged after 3 weeks of dating David. And came out of a marriage that you were so pissed off about being a polygamist. I don't think, Christine, you're anybody that I'm going to be taking marriage advice from. And definitely not after this episode. I can tell you that right now. Christine is going through something. Like, this is where, like, I do believe that Christine, and I like Christine, she's fine. But, like, she was so upset being a polygamist. And she was so upset with Cody. And I really sided with her through that. Because I think Cody treated her like shit. Okay? But now she's with David, and she don't seem any happier. And when Janelle is like, I got all the grandbabies out here, she ain't happy with that. Christine is constantly comparing her life to somebody else. I was taught years ago, when you compare yourself to your life to somebody else, you lose by comparison. Christine is never happy with her own life because she's constantly comparing baby, the grass is not always greener on the other side. So anyway, they're all out there. Maddie's getting ready for her baby. They keep on going back and forth about Maddie and her baby. It's like, every episode with Janelle is with Maddie and getting ready for a baby. Maddie is 3 weeks out. She's ready. Cody, this will be the article that Parade and people pick up for the whole week. Cody is not in the loop. He doesn't even know that she's pregnant. Production asks Janelle, and she says he'll find out when he finds out, if Maddie tells him. Maddie doesn't tell him that she's pregnant, and she hasn't spoken to him in 2 to 3 years. So Maddie hasn't spoken to Cody in 2 to 3 years. She just got online and she called, I might make a video about this tomorrow on my drama channel. She just called Robin the biggest liar manipulator in the world. Peyton hasn't talked to his dad or Robin since Garrison's funeral, which was over 2 years ago. I mean, do any of the kids talk to Cody? I mean, he talks about repairing these relationships. Now we're back in pair 1, and they're reading the letter, and it says, "Dear best friend Mary." They're talking about how he used to write notes to Mary all the time before Janelle was in the family. It's a really nice, encouraging letter about being strong. He says that she was always very insecure and that he spent a lot of his life building her reassurance. She doesn't disagree with this. Then she talks about how they always knew that they would get another wife. She questioned it, though, even though she knew that they would always do that, but she kind of questioned it. And she's like, this box is literally everything from the very beginning. She's got all these letters and stuff from Cody. There's tons of letters that she got from him through the years. She said for him to say that he doesn't love her was disrespectful to her, the family, and the wives, Robin included. She's like, this is evidence, basically, of his love for us and for me. And then go back and say, I never loved you. When this is evidence of that, it's so disrespectful. And she goes in this whole thing. I thought it was interesting. She's like, when we got married, it was really like the beginning of everything. Like the beginning of him and Janelle, of him and Christine, of him and Robin, all the kids. It really is kind of true. And to some degree, I think it's why Mary has always seen herself as the matriarch of the family, even though nobody else sees her that way. I think because she started it all. I really kind of felt for Mary in this moment, because it was like, if she hadn't married Cody, I mean, we wouldn't know if Sister Wives, the TV show today. We really probably wouldn't, you know? Then she goes in and she talks about the Claudia ring, the first Claudia ring, and that the diamond in it was from Janelle's mom. And she talks about how she should probably give her the diamond back. And that it really, her mom giving her, really made her feel like she was part of this polygamous family. She says she talks about knowing Janelle before because Janelle was married to Mary's brother. And that Cody, and then there was a lot of emotions when she came in, and she thought Janelle made her feel really, really special. And Janelle did a really good job of trying to make Mary feel like comfortable, even though, because Janelle was like, or Mary was like, I was very jealous. I mean, Mary kind of owns a lot of her jealousy and stuff. Then we're back at Christine's house, or we're at Christine's house. Her and David are having coffee. And apparently production did not film this part, or I don't know, they didn't want to air it. I wish they would have just aired it, okay? But they just had a heated discussion, and they were talking about Peyton talking in movie quotes. The whole thing was so bizarre to me. David was saying that Peyton was never going to get a girl because he always expressed his emotions through movie quotes. I don't know. And then he said it needs to come from his heart. And then he's concerned he won't be able to move on with his life if he doesn't do it authentically. Basically what he's saying is that Peyton, who a lot of people compare Peyton's speaking patterns to Cody's, and that Cody talks in a lot of metaphors and that Peyton talks in a lot of metaphors. And what David was saying is, if he doesn't live authentically through himself and not just through movies and books, none of it's going to be very real. What was interesting to me about this whole scene with Christine and David was Christine says something, then retracts it. And I was like, ooh, this reminds me of you with Cody. Number one. Number two, I'd never seen this side of David before. It was very, very interesting to me. David always comes across as very loving, very kind, very supportive. I don't know. This was interesting to me. I mean, are we seeing, is there trouble in paradise? Christine says that David likes to push buttons, but it hurts her stomach when he does it. She says, I don't like to have deep discussions. She says that. I don't like to have deep discussions. Then she talks about how they read books and movies were very important to her and her kids, and that her and her daughters read the Twilight series 3 times. He goes, but that's not real. He's like, that's not real. Like, they're not gonna meet real men that are like Twilight. Okay. As a lover of books and movies, my husband, he loves movies and TV shows, but he's not a reader. Like, that comment is such a weird comment to me, and it kind of goes to my core of what I am passionate about and love in my life. If my husband said that to me, especially about like how I raised my kids or something on reading books, which I love that Christine did that kind of would hurt my heart a little bit. And he kind of goes kind of deep with it a little bit. I was kind of surprised. And he says that's not real. And I'm like, okay, well, David, you must know, because she shares it in her book, that Christine is obsessed with Scottish sexy time romance novels. There's a whole genre. She talks about it in her book. Her kids buy her the books. So you must know that, David. Is David threatened by the Scottish sexy time romance novels? And she talks about how she was put in a movie to escape, because I understand that. You don't have to be in a polygamous marriage to want to escape. I mean, we just got 1.5 inches of snow last night. I'm ready to put a movie in and escape from the snow. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty, but it's cold as shit. And then she says there are situations where it's best to hold your tongue. I'm like, okay, wait a second. Now, you have built us on a wedding special and 2 seasons of how fantastic and supportive David is to you. Now you're telling us that there are situations where you need to hold your tongue, and holding your tongue, a situation where you need to hold your tongue, is David challenging you over which books you read to your kids? Like, that's a situation. That is not, I mean, that doesn't even seem like a deep conversation to me. And what it says is that Christine's lost her voice in this marriage already. I'm like, this is, like, are we really seeing the real David? Like, this is bothersome to me. Janelle came out and said that David has a real ego. I never saw that. I've never seen David having a real ego. Are they editing David down for the show? Like, I'm so confused. Then we're at this museum club with Robin and Cody, and they're there for dance lessons. She says he dances like I'm the pole and she's the he's the accessory or something like that. She gets upset because he says he has a problem with my dancing. She doesn't like him telling people that they have any marriage problems whatsoever. I'm like, he's joking. He says to the dance instructor, she doesn't like my dancing. She about loses her shit. So I'm like, oh, yet again, here it is. We don't want anything in the public. We got to put on a complete fakery about how your marriage is, even right down to the fact that she don't like your dancing. Okay, I mean, whatever. Christine says that he does this dance called the pump dance or the punk dance. Is it? I don't know. I was going to look it up, but I didn't. Janelle says that she loved that he liked to dance like that. Robin says she doesn't know what to do when he's doing it. Well, Robin, it's not all about you. Sometimes it's about your husband loving to dance, you know? My husband loves to dance too. I love to dance, but my husband at music festivals and stuff, baby, he ain't holding my hands and we ain't doing no tango, okay? Robin says that he's like the stripper and he's like the pole, or she's like the pole. Now we're back in North Carolina. They're getting ready for the hospital for Maddie to have her baby. She goes into labor really quickly. Not on the show, but they're talking about how she goes into labor really quickly. They're explaining it to her daughter, Evie, who has a pen and is taking notes, what I absolutely live for, because that was me as a kid. Baby, I was everybody's secretary. I lived for that. Okay. And they're talking about how Janelle says that all of Maddie's babies came right on the due date. Now we're back in Parowan. They're talking about Cody melted his ring down. I remember this happening. It was like a big deal in the show. And that he used some of it to make jewelry for the kids and some of it for a necklace for Mary. But years later, after she basically had to beg him for it, she said the whole thing was just really, really weird. And she just didn't, she was like, I don't know why he just didn't let her have the ring. And Jen says the same thing. He melted it down because he didn't want her to have claim on him. And then they interview him and he goes in and explains it. And he's like, I didn't want her to have claim on me. And Mary's like, well, I thought that's what spouses did, was have claim on you. And he says he didn't want her to have more than Christine or Janelle had on him at that time. But didn't they all have Claudia rings? Like, I'm confused about that. And then she says 3 decades of a marriage, and it's going to take a long time to go through all this stuff. And then they put the dress on the dog. I'm like, baby, that dress needs to be steamed, first of all. And I don't know why the dress is so wrinkled to hell that she cares so much about that she won't get rid of. But do you remember back in the early seasons, none of them gals washed their feet? Do you remember that? I got pictures of it on my phone that I sent to my friends. No, it's literally like Amy Slayton and the Slayton sisters on 1,000 Pound Sisters. No, Christine's feet were always the dirtiest. This is going to stop in a second. Hold on. True story, don't call me Truly Brown. I got pictures of Christine's dirty ass feet. Oh my God. They never wore shoes or socks. Their houses must have just been total pits. Okay, now we're back in North Carolina, getting Maddie's stuff ready again for her go bag. That was all their part was. Gabriel was on his phone the whole time. I was like, can we get an interview with Gabriel? Can we hear? I would have loved like him and Peyton being together talking about their girlfriends, like interviewing them. Like, production's really missing shit on this show. They're talking to Axel. They're talking about him being a big brother to his 3 little sisters. He wanted a big brother. Okay. Now we're back at Christine's house. They're talking about this heated discussion again. Now she goes, I like the real conversations. I'm like, when I'm watching it, I went back in my notes. I'm like, did she just say that she hated deep discussions? And now it's 2 seconds later and she's saying she likes the deep discussions. Okay, because you know how this is going to look on TV, right? And you got to make it look like you and David are perfect. Okay. So now she loves the real conversations. I'm like, you are so losing your voice in this marriage. To me, it was like, this is major trouble in paradise. He says he doesn't want to discredit how she feels. I'm like, you just discredited how she felt when she was sharing a story with you about reading a Twilight series to her daughters 3 times. And you go, but that's not real life. You just discredited her feelings, David. No, it doesn't matter what you say. I'm like, this is really interesting to me what we're seeing right here. I don't think they wanted to show it that way, and I don't know if anybody else picked it up, but he talks about how polygamy dilutes a marriage. David said that she wasn't made for polygamy. Christine says that Cody told her the same thing. They talk about polygamy being a competition for love, that the man always has an ego. This is how David feels. It's so weird. David gets very heated talking about polygamy. He had 2 sisters that were married to polygamists, so I think that might be part of it. But I also kind of feel like Christine brings up Cody a lot in their conversations and polygamy, and she's very still defensive of polygamy. And I don't know if maybe David feels like he's in competition with Cody and polygamy from the past with Chris. I don't know. She says they teach you to endure it till the end. They use that quote like 3 or 4 times. Mary talks about being very jealous then. She's like, how could you not be jealous? People ask all the time if she was jealous. And I'm like, I remember those early seasons, and you guys would talk about how you never were jealous. And then the later seasons it came out that you were jealous. So what the lie you sold us on was that none of you wives were jealous and you all loved each other. The only reason you have a show now is because you lied early on and now you're telling the truth. Okay, so that's the only reason why anybody's interested in the show anymore, okay? It's because you're correcting your lies. She's like, and then she said that she felt like everything about her was wrong, that the wives were better, she couldn't even have a baby. This part made me kind of feel really sad for Mary. David says that the men love the fighting of the women over the men and that they use it to control women. I'm like, we saw that season 1. I mean, I think we all clocked that season 1, right? Janelle says that there are tragic... I did like Janelle's point. She says there are tragic stories in polygamy, but there are tragic stories in monogamy too. So if we're going to like generalize this to all of polygamy, then let's generalize that to... I was like, that is absolutely 100% true, you know? We can find bad in everything. She says they went public partly to end the stigma of what polygamy was about. The problem with that, Janelle, is this, okay? Is that now you have Mary coming out and talking about how she was jealous of everybody from the beginning and that Cody didn't love any of you. And so you came out public to destigmatize polygamy, but what we know now is that what you were showing us was a lie, okay? So it didn't really help because you guys were all lying about the condition of the relationship you guys were in. Christine says that she felt like she was being controlled by Cody. She talks about the undergarment. She said she felt like the front girl, which led her to be controlled because she was like, if I felt bad about myself, she's like, they show all these pictures and she's like, I had undergarments on. I always felt frumpy. And she was like, and then that led me to feel like the other wives looked better and Cody could say what he wanted to say. She goes, I told Cody one day, I'm not wearing them anymore. I think that was the beginning of her independence. She talks about the undergarments in the book. It was interesting to me because they don't really ever talk about it on the show. Like in the early seasons, she talks about how when they were filming underneath the heat lights and stuff like that, like they would all have on undergarments. They would talk. She talks in there specifically about like some of the t-shirts that they would wear underneath their outfits and stuff. And I had forgotten about that. And there was just a day when they said, we're not doing it anymore. It's too hot for us. We're not doing it anymore. And then they talk about enduring a horrible life together just so that you can enjoy celestial life after death. And Mary's like, I don't think that that's the purpose of life. We're back in the dance class. Cody has had a dancing life. It was part of his life, he says. His first real conversation was with Robin at the dance. Hey, Robin, can I give you a Claudia ring? I'll buy you a doll. And then can I fuck you? By the way, I have 3 wives. I'll buy you a doll. Can I fuck you? They're teaching them, he says, he's not good at picking up things. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's not like that. But he's like, I can't pick up moves. He's like so concerned with the moves of getting this right. Robin looks so fucking over it. Like she is so over being at this dance class, which was supposedly her idea anyway, to give her airtime. He's like, Robin moves with such grace. This man is such a fucking liar. I wish, like, okay, I mean, it's the only wife left. She's shy, she's obedient, she's graceful. She's Miss fucking America. I mean, my God, what's her platform anyway? She's very cautious and he's very aggressive. She doesn't take any risks, and it's not giving a good balance to the rhythm of their dance. It's another metaphor he uses. And I'm like, are they headed for trouble too? Is Christine and Cody going to get... Christine still reminisces about Cody, okay? Cody can't shut the fuck up about Christine. It's the only wife he gets pissed about because she's married to David, and he feels like David is his competition. Is this what's going to happen? Are they, and Mary still pines after Cody. Are they all going to get back together? And it's like Janelle, I think she could give a fuck about any of them. Are they all going to get back together with Cody? And it's going to be like, the reunion's going to be a big orgy or something? Like, what is happening on this show? Now we're back in North Carolina for the 5th packing of Maddie's go bag for the hospital. Baby, she had her baby, okay? Like, I think that's the next episode. We're back in Parowan. Mary says if she gets married again, she won't wear a dress like that. Honey, I hope so. I hope you don't, okay? She says when they got married, it started the trajectory of all of their lives. In their culture, the philosophy of suffering would make you better. She says, she's like, I don't believe that. She's like, I don't believe that anymore. She doesn't think you need to suffer. You need to know how to go through the suffering. I love that she said that. That shows a lot of growth, I think, in Mary. Now we're back at dance class, and it's really different than what he's been doing all his life. His dancing reminds me of those twins on the Peanuts Christmas special. He says he needs to change the habits, and we'll have to see how this dance goes. And maybe there is some truth to the fact that Cody and Robin are going to go their separate... Can you imagine if that happened this season? I mean, that would really ensure a 21st season. Probably more than Brescia getting married. Anyway, let me know if you watch this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.